Good morning. We'll be starting lying down today, and I'm sharing what I would say is my common somatics practice that I do every morning, oftentimes in bed. So you can let your dogs join you if you'd like. Coming down onto your back, take a moment to draw your knees into your chest and just roll. Feel the back of your body. Notice what it feels like to be in your body. And then after moving a little bit, find a still point. A still point is center where you can really let the earth hold you. Your legs can be long, or I like to bend my knees and let my inner knees just fall together. Take your arms wherever they're most comfortable. We'll focus on breath for a moment. Just notice how you're breathing naturally. Can you sense your breath on your nostrils? You sip it into your throat. Just this invitation to fully be awake and aware in your own body. And right now, let that path in be your breath. Follow your breath down into your chest. Notice if your abdomen moves. And then begin to differentiate between the inhalation and the exhalation. What does it feel like to breathe in? Can you feel the coolness of the air on the edges of your nose? What does it feel like to breathe out? Letting that warmth leave the body. And as you're mindfully breathing, just notice if your breath is changing. Has it become longer or slower or deeper? Do you feel different parts of your body moving now with your breath that initially were not? Oftentimes our breath is naturally enhanced and deepened just by bringing our awareness to the breath. There's no force. There's no goal. Simple awareness into the breath. And please consider setting an intention, not only for yourself, but for someone in particular or for the collective consciousness. What is it that you, as a single individual, can bring into this world right now? And how can this practice help you to deliver that intention or that manifestation? And we'll start with the left leg today. So taking a moment to bring your left leg into your body. Your right foot can stay on the floor if that's more comfortable for your low back, or you're welcome to extend it, barring any dogs in the way. Bring that left leg in, and then if you'd like to use a strap behind the leg, you can, or just take your hands and just begin to move your toes. Just wiggling your toes. Imagine riding with your toes. Notice if you can move your big toe separately from the rest of your toes, maybe making circles with your big toe. And sense not just how this affects the toes, but the whole sole of the foot, the top of the foot, your ankle. Can you feel it into your shin and calf? Just like when we were breathing, we felt the breath in different areas of the body. Moving the toes will feel in different areas of the body. And relax your toes. Come into your ankle, sense your ankle, and you're going to inhale. And if you want a little less sensation, keep the leg slightly dropped. If you want more sensation, you're going to extend your heel up, get the leg longer. So that's up to you. So you're going to inhale and reach the top of the foot upward so the ankle will open. So this is plantar flexion, the sole of the foot will tighten. And then exhale and just release it to neutral. Inhale, reach. And exhale, release to that state of grace. So just pressing like you're reaching the ball mount of the foot up towards the sky, and then releasing. And notice how you might feel the muscles in the front of the shin stretching, the front of the ankle, and sense that calf muscle as it contracts and shortens in order to help facilitate this movement. Feel the muscles in the sole of your foot. All that support you'll receive as you walk throughout the day. And then we're going to go the opposite way. So relax the foot. It's neutral wherever it finds its natural home. Feel the top of the foot. Now as you inhale, draw the top of the foot towards your shin. And then exhale, just release. Inhaling top of the foot towards the shin. If you don't want to do this to your breath, you don't have to. I use breath just to keep the movement equal, the movement of the inhale and the exhale, to slow it down. And now sense that stretch through the back of the ankle and the calf. Feel that tightening through your shin. Working on our foundation in our feet, but also letting your feet get above your head. And now we'll take our ankle in slow circles all the way around. In the morning, I like to imagine I'm drawing smiley faces with my foot. You can write letters if you'd like, words in the sky. So make your practice fit your mood and your needs. Just moving your ankle. And then relax your ankle. So now you will want either strap your hands to the back of the thigh. You're going to inhale and extend the leg up. And as you exhale, drop down. And I'm more or less keeping my thighs straight up and down, moving from the knee. So this is knee joint, right? Exhale, drop down. Inhale into extension. And exhaling down. So simple joint motion, waking up the knee joint. But feel the muscles that are helping this happen in your thigh. Notice when your hamstrings are stretching and your quadriceps, the front of the thigh is engaging, and vice versa. So just that internal awareness of what you can feel. One more for the knee. Saying thank you to our knees for being our buffers. And then we'll relax that foot down so the lower leg is dangling. Sense the circumference of your hip crease and begin to make slow circles from the hip crease. So we're not using the lower leg to move it. We're going to let the lower leg just dangle and move from your hip. You can make circles or squares, whatever shape feels like it's creating sensation, not only in the thigh, but through your pelvis. Feel this in your pelvis. Picking one direction first to explore. And then you can switch and go the opposite direction. And every now and then glance at the rest of your body. Make sure that we're not tightening any other parts. So are your shoulders relaxed on the earth? We still have the earth to support us. Can you relax your jaw and your eyes so that tension isn't being held anywhere else in the body? All right, and then we'll relax that down. We're going to place the right foot on the floor if your right leg's extended and cross the left ankle on the right thigh. You can take your arms out to your sides if you like. Feel your right foot and notice the big toe and little toe side, and then we're going to go side to side on that foot. So this is just a movement with gravity. As you exhale, you're letting your legs fall to the right. So just letting them fall with gravity. And then inhale, come back up. As you exhale, let your legs fall to the left onto the big toe side. And I take my arms out into a T. It just helps to stabilize the shoulders. Don't have to though. So you just think of the legs just falling with gravity on exhalation, and the levity in the lifting on the inhalation, the effort to lift back up. And I find my head usually wants to roll back and forth, so always just letting your body, your upper body respond however it needs to. Sometimes I'll even reach an arm. So if my legs are falling to the right, my left arm will reach overhead. These are all just options for you to explore. Does it enhance this movement for you, or does it just create strain? Does it create more body awareness? I'll do one more to each side. And then back to the center. So we're going to keep this left ankle crossed on the right thigh. Pick your right foot up off the floor and use the strength of your right leg to take your left leg for a ride. So we're getting back into moving that hip a little bit. I've got a dog there supporting my foot. One thing you may want to check is that this left hip isn't getting all crunched up. A lot of time the hip will lift up towards your armpit. So if that's the case, just take your hand and gently coax that left hip forward towards the front of your mat. So the two hips are even. This left hip isn't higher than the right hip. So keep space in that left hip crease. You can even take your left hand to your left thigh and gently press it away. And I'm just exploring these circular patterns with the right leg off the floor. So you start to feel a little more stretch through your low back and the buttocks. And then if with this one you can keep moving, or if you want to find a still point, that still point might be with the right foot on the floor, or you could wrap your hands or a strap around the back or the right thigh. Taking that moment of stillness. You could redirect your full awareness back into your breath and notice once again how you're breathing. And then we'll put that right foot back down if it's up. Uncross the legs, whatever position you started with. So it might have been with your feet on the floor, knees falling together, or legs long. Just take that same position you started in when we first came down and take 5 to 8 breaths of awareness, visualizing the space from your toes to your hips, through your pelvis. And what can you feel? If you were to do a comparison of the two sides of your body, what words come to the forefront of your mind? And not in a way that we're categorizing or saying it's right or wrong, just because you're the only one that can have this experience of feeling any potential differences in the two sides of your body. And then that acceptance. The conscious effort to just be present in whatever is presenting itself to you without making it right or wrong or good or bad. And then we're going to get ready to do our right leg. So you can bring your right leg into your body. Left foot can stay on the floor if that's more comfortable for your low back, or you're welcome to extend it if there's not a dog in the way. And I'm going to take my hands to the back of my right thigh to support myself. You can keep your right leg lower, so less sensation there, or you can take the lower leg up towards the sky a little bit, but just starting with your toes, just moving your toes. And there's always this great desire to watch our toes, but see if you can close your eyes, because that's going to encourage more of the felt sense. Instead of seeing what it looks like, what does it feel like to just move your toes this morning? What feet muscles are helping you to make this movement? And then maybe just moving that big toe all on its own, letting it wave this morning. Waving at the birds. And relax your toes. We'll be going into the ankle, so if your leg is lower down, you'll feel less sensation. If the more you go into extension, you're going to feel more in that ankle and through your shin and calf. So I'm going to take mine a little bit more into an extension, and then feel the ball mount of your foot. And as you breathe in, press the ball mount of the foot up towards the sky. So you feel that stretch through the front of your ankle, and then just release on exhalation. Let the foot naturally come back to its space of holding. Inhale and reach. And exhale and release. So this is not really range of motion as much as a little bit, you're working through your plantar flexion, but just sensing that it's not only reaching, that's the range of motion, but it's releasing. Where is that release point? Feeling the front of your shin stretch, your calf tighten, getting kisses. All right, and then we're going to go the opposite way. So feel the top of the foot, maybe sense your heel. And as you inhale, draw the top of the foot towards your shin, press your heel up and away from the leg line, and then exhale, release. So imagine pushing your heel towards the sky, drawing the top of the foot towards your shin, and then releasing. And this is a pretty big stretch for the back of the ankle and your calf. So let that stretch happen on the inhale, and then release it on the exhale. Full awareness. And releasing. And now think of your full range of motion in your ankle. You can make circles, you can go side to side, what we call inversion and eversion, anywhere that ankle wants to go. And keeping the eyes closed if you can. So you're just internalizing all of the feelings. What does it feel like for your knee joint? What does it feel like for your shin and calf? Can you feel it all the way to your hip? There's a weight difference in the two sides of your pelvis. And you can switch and go the opposite direction. And let the ankle relax. With the hand still to the back of the thigh, we'll get into the knee joint. So if your thigh is way back towards your ribs, see if you can take it a little more forward so that the knee is right over the front of the hip, or the thigh is 90 degrees from your spine. And if the arms are up here tightening, then you're using a strap. Inhaling into the extension. So press that heel up and the ball of the foot towards the sky. Exhale, slowly take it down with gravity. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Think of the power of that sun starting to sneak through the trees. Invite that light into your body, into your knee. And last one for that knee joint. All right, and now we'll be getting into the right hip. So feel the circumference of your right hip where your thigh bone plugs into the pelvis. And begin to make circles or squares. Keep that low leg dangling and heavy and relaxed. Move from your hip crease. So much of this is about isolation of movement. Can you really sense that it's your hip moving? And remembering to go slower through any spots that feel sticky. There's this natural desire to go faster and go really slow through those sticky spots. And then you can switch the direction. Sometimes I'll imagine like, oh, there's a space. I've got, like, I like to make it fun and playful and happy. So I'll imagine that there's like marshmallow stuck on my tissues and I just have to be all slow and ooey gooey in that spot. But create the image that works for you. Last circle with that right hip. All right. And then if your left leg is extended, please bend the knee and place the foot on the floor. We'll cross the right ankle on the left thigh. Bodhi's going to help me. Bodhi. And then you're going to feel your left foot out. So feel the pinky toe and big toe side of the left foot. And you need to come over here. You're going to drop both legs to the left on exhalation. And then lift up on inhale. And then drop both legs to the right on exhalation. I'm about to have my lab sandwich. And this is very true to form for me in the morning. I get sandwiched between two labs. For me, it invites a little bit more joy into my practice. To remember that my guardians of being are here, keeping me grounded. You can just be aware of what kind of sensations this rocking creates. Think of the rocking movement of water, right? And you're just rocking your pelvis side to side. But you can also feel this through your foot. Sense how you're rolling onto the big toe side of the left foot and the little toe side. So just by switching our awareness point in our body, we have different experiences. What does it feel like for the pelvis, and what does it feel like for the foot? If you want to add the arms reaching, I like to reach the arm opposite wherever the leg is dropping to get a little more side stretch, get into that side body. Exhaling and falling. And we'll do one more to each side. Wake up those tissues in your body. And now, keeping the right ankle on the left thigh, lift your left foot off the floor if that's comfortable, and just start to make some movement with your left leg as if you're giving your right leg a ride. And the more your left thigh comes towards your navel center, you'll feel more stretching through the back side of your body, your low back and your buttocks. You can also go out to the side, stretch out the right hip as I go to the left side. Just exploring. Checking that we're not holding tension anywhere else. If you want to find a still point, that can be done with the left leg on the floor. You could even take your right hand to your right thigh, gently press it away. Or maybe it feels better to get deeper and take your hands to the back of the left thigh. Remember that invitation was sent just to stay present in your body. And then the rest is up to you, just to be there when the body responds to these movements. Just listening, a practice of listening. I think of somatics a lot like the difference between prayer and meditation. That prayer is when we ask for something, and meditation is when we just listen. And somatics to me is very much about just listening. We're not asking or expecting. Giving our body an opportunity to talk through sensation. And then we'll take that left leg back down. Uncross the legs. I'm going to flip so you can see me, so my dog sandwich is not blocking your view. We're going to go into the arms, working our way up, and then we'll go back. So we're starting from the toes, and then we go to the hands, and then we're going to go into the middle in the end. So I'm going to take my hands, my arms are out to the sides. This is call them our cactus arms. Arms are straight out, wrists are at the height of the shoulders, and then you're going to bend your elbows and just let your wrists and hands be floppy. As you breathe out, let your hands fall forward, and we're not pushing them, but you're letting them fall forward in a way that you'll feel your upper arm bone rotate towards the front of your mat. So an inward rotation of the upper arm bone. And that's where I picture those arm bones like rolling pins. And then you're going to come back up on inhale. And then as you exhale, it's still just the drop with gravity. Let the hands fall back. So that arm bone will rotate outward or towards the back of your mat, the upper arm bone. So just this internal and external rotation. So exhaling, falling forward, and you might notice where your hands end up, how close to the floor. Inhaling up, exhale, dropping back. As best you can, try to keep your wrist in line with your shoulder as opposed to letting the wrist fall way out to the side. So you want to keep this L shape with the arms. Even if you can't, if I don't keep the L shape, I can take my hand a lot closer to the ground, but with the L shape, I can't quite touch the ground. That doesn't matter. And so we're sensing the muscles in the upper back and the shoulders, and then we're going to do the same movement but alternate. So as you exhale, let the right hand fall down towards your hip and the left hand go overhead. Inhale back up and exhale opposite. So we're doing this gentle side to side. alternating arms. And then you're going to take your gaze into this. And as you breathe out, let your head roll towards that lower arm. The head is heavy. You just feel yourself roll through your skull, roll back to the center on inhale, and to the left. And think of the surface underneath your head. Every day is a little different. So I notice things like today I have a French braid in my head. So as I'm rolling, it feels very different for my skull. And different doesn't mean good or bad. It was a little bit of a surprise at first, but then you go with those surprises. Noticing the littlest things you can. Just letting the arms fall. I have to check sometimes my elbows will start to slide down, so I need to bring them back up to the height of the shoulders. And then let's do the same movement with the arms, but look at the top arm on exhalation. So just switch the gazing point towards that upper arm. I have a dragonfly that wants to join the party today too. And just doing that nice side to side for your arms and shoulders. Last one. And then let your hands fall onto your chest for a moment. Relax completely. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders. And before we go into our final pose, this is just my short morning practice today. We're going to take a full body yawn. So now we're ready. Arms and legs. Reach them away from the center of your torso. Maybe your back arches off the floor. Tighten the muscles of the bones. So this is what we call pandiculation. You want to squeeze and tighten and lengthen at the same time. Everything is active. You can point your toes and your kneecaps up towards the sky. Draw your kneecaps up your legs. If you want, you can clasp your hands and turn the palms of the hands away from the crown of your head. Nice big full breaths. And then if you're feeling that big arch in your back, what you can do is as you exhale, draw the back line down into the earth. You'll feel more structure, more core stability in the front body. Keep breathing through that. One more breath. And then as you breathe out, slowly let everything go. Maybe just jelly roll the legs or the arms. Take 5 deep breaths of stillness. Feeling you from the toes to the head, the fingers into the heart. Wherever you landed. All right. So before we finish with our full body movement, we are going to do the back line. I like incorporating the back in my morning routines because we tend to do more flexion of the spine than back bending. So we're going to roll onto our front side. And let yourself find a space of comfort on your abdomen. Forehead to the floor, or maybe it's your chin to the floor, arms wherever they're most comfortable. So arms can be either in that goalpost shape with elbows to the height of the shoulders, or maybe more elbows slightly above the shoulders in like a diamond shape, wherever your shoulders feel relaxed. And then you can shake out your legs side to side, just jelly roll them. Let the tops of the feet and the thighs find the floor. If you need a little more movement for the lower body to release the low back and the buttocks, maybe bend your knees and do a little windshield wipering, legs back and forth. And then those arms are completely relaxed. This is just what I call our baby cobra pose. So we're going to use our back line, the spine, to lift us up. So keeping the legs and arms relaxed. Feel yourself from your core center. As you breathe in, notice how there's a buoyancy to the breath. There's a lifting. And let that inhalation pick you up off the ground. So coming forward and upward, and I'm not throwing my head back, I'm keeping my neck in a neutral position, just floating up on inhale. And then as you breathe out, turn onto one cheek and slowly float back down. Let that cheek completely release. So we get into the neck as well. Inhale. Let the breath initiate that upward buoyancy of lifting. Exhale, rolling onto the opposite cheek. So there's this floating feeling, there's this levity. We're inhaling up and exhale. Gravity allows us to release and relax. And that's the balance. The word yoga means to yoke, to unite, two opposite feelings. So that feeling of levity and gravity. Check to see in this first round, I'm really focusing on lifting myself from my spine, keeping the arms and legs relaxed. We are going to add arms and legs in a moment. But come into your last lift, and if you want to hold for a few breaths, you can. If that doesn't suit you, keep moving. And even as you're holding posture, let the breath support posture. So the posture creates space for the breath, and then the breath enhances the posture. The inhalation still building that lifting, that lightness. The exhalation, feeling whatever's touching the earth, grounding and supporting you. Feel even your bones, relax the muscles in the arms and legs. And exhale all the way down. So we're going to give you the option of bringing arms and legs into this. I'll do leg first and then I'll show arm. You may want to do both or just one or the other. So now as I'm lifting up to the center, floating up, I'm going to lift my right leg and I'm going to reach it back and lift it. So lifting right leg. As I lift my right leg, I'm going to turn onto my left cheek. So I'm turning towards that right leg as I come down and letting go. And then I inhale to the center, left leg reaches long, reach with the big toe. So we're not bending the knee, keep the leg straight, lift up. And then exhale. Come down. So still this idea of baby cobra. But we're lifting one leg, and then as we come down, you're turning your head towards that lifted leg. Head and leg come down together. Finding that floor. We'll do one more with just the legs and the spine lifting. Arms are still relaxed. Notice the feeling of the muscles in the back of the thigh and the buttocks engaging to lift the leg. And then if we'd like to add the arms too, we can do even more of a cross-body patterning. So as I inhale up and I lift my right leg, I can keep my left hand on the floor and just slide it forward, or I can reach it and lift it. But if it strains the arm to lift it, just slide it and reach it. So it would be opposite arm in hand. So as I inhale and float up, I'm still floating. Left arm, right leg. Exhale. Right cheek or left cheek comes down and I relax. Complete relaxation at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, float through center. Right arm can slide, left leg. And exhale back down. So we find that cross body patterning of opposite shoulder and hip. And then just coming in for the landing, releasing completely. Feel that length and strength at the top of the inhale. But meet that with relaxation at the bottom of the exhale. That is the complementary opposites. Sometimes we'll begin to feel the pauses in the breath, and you can take hold of those pauses. So at the top of the inhale, there's a pause where you feel fully extended and strong. And at the bottom of the exhale, there's a pause. Call it the peaceful pause where you're completely relaxed. Just doing one or two more. Maybe you're stopping to pause and hold one side. Last round, wherever you are. and releasing. We'll be going back onto our backs, but if you want to just rest on your belly because the belly wants to be on the earth, you can stay here. Or perhaps you like practicing child's pose to stretch the low back out after that. So you could also take a child's pose. I like to incorporate movement into my child's pose. If neither of those work for you, then go back onto your back. And just as we did in the very beginning, just hug your knees into your chest and roll around. So we can move in a child's pose. We can also move on our backside. And if you're not on your back, if you're resting in your child's pose, take your time. But coming back onto our backs, we're going to finish up. And we're going to go into the center of our universe, into the pelvis to finish now. So coming back down, this one will want constructive rest with the feet. So you're going to bend your knees, place your feet on the floor so that the heels are right about underneath the knees. Your feet are hip distance apart. And feel your feet. We want to feel the feet on the earth. And as you breathe in, Bodhi's probably in the way there. As you breathe in, sense your tailbone and gently press your tailbone and arch your back away from the floor. So there will be this lifting in the low back and the belly will float up. There's the levity. As you exhale, slowly release low back into the floor. You might slightly press the low back and lower ribs into the floor. Feel your tailbone lift up so you're curling your low back into the floor. And then inhaling onto the tailbone. So this is our arch. And exhaling into the curl. And think of all these movements we just did for our arms and our legs. And this, we did the spine, right? But now take it back to the center, to the space of balance in your body, into the pelvis. And just let yourself rock back and forth from the pelvis. You might find that your head naturally begins to move. So chin would come towards the chest on the inhale. It's moving in unison with the pelvis. And then as you exhale and the pelvis drops back and down, the head will drop back away from the chest. If you want to add arms into this movement, remember the arm spirals we did earlier was internal, external rotation. It's that same idea, but you're going to inhale and roll your arm bones away from you and slide your arms up overhead. So that's the external rotation. And then as you exhale, press the low back, lower ribs into the floor, roll your arm bones in, maybe even squeeze the head of the arm bones towards one another, towards your collarbones, like you're squeezing your shoulders together. Inhale, reach and lengthen the body and arch the back. Feel your front body expand, back body shorten. Exhale, front body shortens, back body expands. So now we take it from the pelvis and back into that bit more of a full body movement. Sometimes you might want to stop and stall anywhere and hold if you find a good spot. It's like you can take an all-out hike, right? And keep moving, moving, moving. Or that hike could be more of a meander, an opportunity to stop and feel, look out. Last few. Just notice how your whole body responds to this movement. And then let go. Come back to that space where you started your class, feet on the floor, or maybe the legs were long, wherever your hands and arms want to be. And just taking a moment of gratitude for your body. If you did set an intention for yourself, think of that intention being incorporated into all of the tissues of your body. What sometimes helps me is I picture just like one cell of my body. For me, I usually start at the heart, but that cell can be anywhere in your body. And what if that one cell of your body here's your intention. And in hearing it, there's a feeling. And every time you breathe in, you're feeding that feeling so that that one cell tells the cells around it that same message. The breath in is the vitalizing life force that feeds that message to the cells of your body. And stay here and allow yourself to breathe in that intention for yourself. And at any point during the day, you can remind your body, remind your mind of this space that you've created, this sanctuary inside of yourself that will be here for the rest of the day. Maybe it's just this word you think of, or the thought of the word, the association of the word. And say it to yourself and breathe it in. Peace and joy.